What's up? It's your boy, the King of Tanks, coming at you with another Salty Fresh podcast episode. And in today's episodes, we're going to be talking about the dumbest questions that exist in the fish tank hobby.
And this time we are together because we're having internet problems, so we're here.
Alex broke the internet.
Okay. So what's today's topic again?
Dumbest
Pet peeves, dumb questions.
Pet peeves, dumb questions, and just but we did general questions, but we can do more of that too.
Okay, I'll go first. My main pet peeves are when people are very ignorant when it comes to the fish keeping hobby, because most of the time when you try to tell a newbie about, let's say for example they put a beta in a 1 gallon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you try to tell them, oh, they should be in a 3 gallon, they should be in a 5 gallon, but they're just like, no, it's fine, it's okay, they can survive in 1 gallon. I hate those type of people that don't, or they think they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So they throw it in a 1 gallon thinking, oh, it should be fine, I've seen everybody do it, so it should be fine. You know, they don't want to really listen to the help or advice, or I guess they pretend to listen to it, and they just think that they know better. So I don't know, that's one of the things I don't like. And I guess to put on top of that is undersizing tanks for your fish, because a lot of people, they think a 55 is like 120, but so that's another thing that annoys me, when they think their tank is bigger than they think it is in their mind. So they will get a ton of fish for a 55 that shouldn't be in a 55 or stuff like that. That's another thing that kind of irks me in the fish keeping hobby. But other than that, that's the two that comes to my mind.
I'm gonna add on to that. Actually, where I work.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story of the 5-gallon Oscar guy?
No. Well, maybe, but this is your chance. This is a chance to tell the podcast. Go ahead.
So, adding on to what you said is, this is, I think, the other day, or this is, I've actually had two people.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was straight up, the guy wanted to. We have we sell small tiger Oscars, right? You've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
They got the medium. So he's like, oh, can I get the small tiger Oscar? And I'm thinking, okay. And so he's like, and now I think about it, I have 3. One was a phone call actually, but
okay.
But the first one I had was, he goes, oh, can I get this tiger Oscar? And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, do you have a fish tank already? He's like, oh no, I'm gonna pick up a 5 gallon. I'm like, okay, I'll go a 5 gallon. I go, they're small right now, but I go, you're gonna need a really big, you're gonna need to get a tank, an upgrade really soon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to what, a 10 gallon? I'm like, I was like,
oh,
maybe
boy.
a 40.
Yep.
And he's like, do you have a 40? I was like, we do. We have a 40 breeder, and then we have the 45 with stand.
Mm-hmm.
And then this dude, literally walks over, and he's like, I don't have the money for that. I'm like, dude. He's like, can you just tell me the fish? I'm like, no.
Nope.
So that was the end of that story.
Was that the same guy who said he did fish keeping for 20 years?
No. It's
okay.
It's the next guy I'm gonna talk about.
Okay.
So the next guy comes in. He's like, bro, this is an emergency. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, do you know fish tanks? I'm going, yeah, I've been doing it for a while. What did you need help with? He's like, okay, so I have this fish. This is what he said verbatim. I have this fish. I have a picture of it. I don't know what it is, but it's it's in my 5 gallon right now. I need a 10 gallon. Maybe that'll help.
Mm.
And the guy shows so I'm like, he's scrolling through his thing. I'm like, and usually I don't mind helping people when it comes to this, because one is it's something I know. 2, it kills time at work. So he's like, okay, guys, here it is. I'm like, oh. At first I thought it was just a tetra or a Daniel or something. So I'm thinking, okay, I go, maybe we can help this guy. The guy, I'm like, he goes, do you know what kind of fish this is? I'm like, yeah. I know exactly what kind of fish this is. I go, it's a tiger Oscar. He's like, okay, because do you have a 10 gallon for this? I go, yeah. I go, I'm thinking, you're not gonna need it. I go, I don't think you. No. I go, we have a 10 gallon, but I go, you're gonna need something bigger, because the fish was about maybe a little more than half the size of a 10-gallon, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I go, what have you been feeding it? He goes, oh, he goes, not important. I go, it's kind of important because.
Yeah, especially in fish keeping, it's I guess in any animal, like the more you feed it or the more well fed it is, the bigger it
Yeah.
kind of gets. So I guess if you really do need to know what he's been feeding that fish.
Yeah, so he's like, and what blew my mind was I was like, okay, I go, you're gonna need maybe a 40, because I go 20, I go, you could go with the 20 long, but I go I've had Oscars before, the 20 long I kind of outgrew it, and he's like, and this guy like he goes, you're joking, right? I go, I'm not joking. I go, you're gonna need either a 20, like a regular 20. I go, a 20 long, or you're gonna need a 40 or a 45. We have one with the stand. It's it's on sale right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, I don't have the money for that. I'm like, I go, do you have a filter on it? He goes, yeah, I have a filter. I'm like, okay, I go, you're gonna need it. I go, you're gonna need a bigger tank. The bottom line is you're gonna need either a 20 long, because that'll buy you some time at least,
Yep.
or a 40, or a 45 with the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I go, this guy, he's not gonna be okay in a 10-gallon,
Yep.
based off the size.
Yep.
And the guy, like, he's like, this is my favorite line to hear at work. You know how long I've been doing fish tanks? I'm like,
20 years of doing it wrong.
yeah, no. He said he's been doing fish tanks longer than I have, and he goes, my tanks are better than yours. I go, I can't say anything because I'm on the clock. But like, I wanted to tell this guy straight up. I was like, go run a saltwater for 1 week, come back, and let's talk. Because
see, those are the people I hate, like those who are ignorant or those that think like they know it all. Like I'm not gonna say I know everything. I know if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But like these are the type of people that irks me to fish keep, because there's a lot of people in this hobby that think they know more than everybody, and yeah, pretty much.
Then the next dumb question I have is this one. It was from a YouTuber I was looking up, a nano reef tank.
Mm-hmm.
I was just just getting a feel of like what kind of, like, how many small fish these guys have in a 5-gallon, just like real baby fish for now. And he's like, this guy, I forget the YouTube channel is called, but he's like, he bought like a starter kit. He's like, I don't use the filter because his filter's not necessary. I'm like, he goes, I've never run a filter. I'm like, yo. I'm like, okay. I'll go, slow down.
Well, I guess so. I mean, you could get away with no filter if you're like always up to date with your water change, always keeping it clean all the time. So I know most tanks you can do that, but what kind of fish did he have? Was it an Oscar?
No. This is a saltwater.
Oh.
So it's like saltwater that's the one type of tank that like you're gonna need I would say you're gonna need a filter. Like, I don't care if it's just a tiny internal filter, but you're gonna need a filter. Cause, I don't know what he had in there. He just looks like he was cycling it, but I could tell he had like maybe some anemones, some coral in there.
Yeah.
But like, this is what irks me. This is one of my pet peeves. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with running fluorescent lights, but if you're gonna run a heater, I learned that the hard way.
Why?
Because your fluorescents give off a lot more heat, so it's like, especially if it's above your tank.
So water needs colder water, right?
Well, it's generally tropics. So it's like 72 to 78 with the fluctuation of it. It can go to 80. But the reason why I say I found out the hard way is, remember my 29?
Mm-hmm.
I used to have that big fluorescent light, and I used to have the heater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what pet peeves me when people say they're running fluorescent lights and they're running a heater, and they're saying that the water's too hot. The thing is like I said, the fluorescent light gives off a lot more heat, and you're running a heater. The reason why I say I learned this the hard way is, remember, I don't know if I told you, for like a long time I didn't realize my water was at like 90 degrees.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because I was running the heater and the fluorescent, right?
That's a lot of heat going on.
I know. So it's like this is when I was new to the aquarium hobby, but for like the longest time I couldn't figure out what was going on until I realized fluorescent. Like, I was watching somewhere, it's like fluorescent lights are gonna heat up the tank a lot more.
Yep.
And what was my other question? Oh, this is a pet peeve, and I want your opinion on this because this I told you about this guy. I think
Okay.
the guy has so this I know this is like a PetSmart story time, but I want to get your opinion on this because I see some weird. I see all the colors of the rainbow when it comes to dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know those auto simplest, the algae eaters for
Yeah.
like the smaller tanks. Okay,
Yeah.
so a guy wanted two of those for
Mhm.
his 10 gallon.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, okay, this guy's gotta have small fish. I was like, okay, this thing is perfect for a 10 gallon.
Mhm.
I go, do you have any other fish in there? He goes, oh, I have five butterfly koi in there. I need your opinion on that because that was like,
In a what? A 5 gallon?
10 gallon,
5 butterfly kois.
five small butterfly kois in a 5
Was that
gallon.
like a permanent thing for him?
Based off what I can say, he said that he had a bigger tank, but you know, it's kind of hard for me to go off of that when I don't. It's kind of hard for me to go off of the information he's giving me.
If it's like a holding tank for now, then whatever. But if that's a permanent tank, oh my god,
I don't know.
dude.
From all I know is he said he has had it in there for like about a couple months. So
Just one butterfly koi is gonna outgrow a 10 gallon. So see, backtracking to what I said, these are like ignorant people that always think they know what they're doing. That's the problem with fish keeping. Sometimes there's always these type of people that always ruin it, and I
Yeah.
guess that's what also caused like fish bowls, where everybody thought, you know, goldfish
Elmo.
could be in goldfish bowl. Elmo.
yeah.
People thought betas could live in vases. Like, it's all because of these type of people. This is like that what's really irks me in this hobby. And they keep also releasing stupid beta bowls, stupid beta freaking
Beta Falls.
falls,
You
and
seen the 3 gallon that I have at work?
yeah.
The the split angle is it's
I
okay.
like stores that have betas in like 1 gallon, like, cause that's just a holding tank for now, but they're filtered 1 gallon. I wish more stores would do this instead of the cups.
Well, the cups is I speak from personal experience. We do it like we do a water change once every other day, so it's like it's not like we're leaving them in the cup.
Well, that's not the problem that I have. It's because not all of them make it out alive.
Oh yeah. I've had
So I think a 1 gallon would be a much like
better, yeah.
much better temporary place for them to stay, because that gives them more room to swim.
Swim.
Okay, before anybody says anything, I'm not saying 1 gallon is a permanent tank. I will never ever
Recommended.
say 1 gallon is a permanent tank. For in stores, I say a 1 gallon filtered tank or a filtered system with a bunch of 1 gallons will always be better than stupid cups. And that's all I gotta say about that.
No, the cups are, you know, it's not ideal, but at the same time it's kind of economic because you see how my store's layout is. But like I guess maybe I would never say 1 gallon would like, maybe if you're gonna use that as like a transition, but at the same time it's like if you're gonna buy the starter kit, I mean some of them look like they're gonna be okay, but at the same time, like whenever people set up beta tanks for the first time, I always recommend the 3. If they can
Yep.
afford, go with the 5.
Yep. Always.
Yeah, I know top fin. It's like it's kind of pricey if you buy this one I have that's running on my invert,
Mm.
the 5 gallon. It's kind of pricey, but it pays off because it comes with the filter, so you don't have to worry about the filter.
Yep.
And betas, they don't necessarily need the air stone, but it is recommended.
And I want to add into this. It's almost like a rant right now for me. Like, no matter the type of fish you're gonna get, whether you're a beginner or an expert, it's always gonna be somewhat expensive.
Mhm.
Never, ever go cheap on fish. Like, you wouldn't go cheap on your dog, right? You wouldn't buy basic food, buy him a basic little tiny bed that's barely enough for him to sleep in, right? It's the same thing for fish. Why would you go cheap? It's
Right.
fish. They're living creatures. They're pets. So no matter what, even a beta, that's gonna be expensive too. It's always gonna be expensive, no matter what.
It's expensive,
No
but it's
matter
on the
what.
cheaper side, I feel.
Yeah, it is a cheaper side compared to bigger tanks.
But it's still gonna be
It's
expensive.
still gonna be expensive. So never, ever go cheap on. If you won't go cheap on your dog, don't go cheap on your fish. Or like if you have a baby, same thing. You won't go cheap on your baby, right?
Or your
So,
girlfriend.
yeah.
Oh, wait.
But the point is, it's always gonna cost a lot of money, no matter what.
Yeah. It's like for me, that's why for me, I run Fluval. Like, that's like, I'm not saying, like, I like to call my style of running my 20 like the lazy way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason why I say it's the lazy way is because you see my filter. It's a Fluval. It's the Fluval 207. So it's like, that is one of the, like, I'm not getting paid to say this. It is one of the best quality filters out there.
Yep.
Just because of one of the modification, like the what's it called? How modular it is, meaning you can modify it to fit how you want to run it. So like for me, my 207 is, like, before is barely enough to keep up with the eels and stuff.
Yep.
But like you got like stuff that removes ammonia, stuff that reduces nitrite. You can add all that. Like, you don't even have to use the basics. The sponges you have to use, but like for your biomedia tree, you don't even have to use the stuff it comes with. You can, like, if you have stuff that like you used to run on a smaller canister, you go ahead, throw that in. That's the Fluval. If it's big enough, small enough to fit in your trays, go for it, because that's what I like about the canister filter. Is even though it seems like I'm running it the lazy way, the thing is on the inside of the filter is I'm running top of the line stuff. That's like a top of the line filter running that tank. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not saying just throw a hang on the back. If you're gonna go canister and you're gonna do it the way I do it, go with like Fluval or even Marineland. Marineland is like really good. The Emperor. It's really good, but only thing is with salt water, if you're gonna use natural sand, I'd put like a screen, just because if you have eels or something that kicks up the sand, it's gonna, when it kicks up the sand next to your filter, it's gonna go into your filter, and that's gonna be a headache to figure out where the sand is.
Alright, so that's pretty much this episode. Please like and subscribe, comment, criticism, what do you like, questions or suggestions, anything really. So
Okay, and don't forget to follow my channel. It's 808 Tanks. I know in the past if any of you guys watch, I have a bad tendency of being inconsistent with uploads, but now that I kind of like figured out what I wanted, like I'm kind of trying to do this more frequently. I also started uploading. I'm gonna also start uploading more shorts now that I have my 5-gallon, because there's some very interesting stuff I have in there, like a Mai Tai clown. I'm probably gonna show them that, because I'm gonna let you in on a secret. When I bought it yesterday, the guy was saying it gets like really aggressive. The thing just hangs out with my small tangs, and all my baby fish in there. It doesn't really bother anybody. So and remember, why be salty during the week when you can stay fresh with the Salty Fresh podcast every weekend, Friday or Saturday, but just stay on the lookout for it.